Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 28th day of November in the year 2022. Sure hope you enjoyed your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. And, of course, we hope you all enjoyed your Thanksgivings, no matter where you were. I had a chance to visit my mom and stepdad, and it was always a nice experience going to visit them. And I sure hope you enjoyed yours as well, but it's over already. I mean, imagine that Thanksgiving's over, and we're just a month away from Christmas, less than 30 days away from Christmas, as hard as that is to believe. But as you do every Monday night, you welcome me into your homes so that I can bring you this week's newspaper. And as you can see, the front page is on your screen, Policing from High in the Sky. Now, I felt like a kid on the 22nd of November. It was a week ago tomorrow. Vinny Ottieri, the public information officer of the Lyndhurst Police Department, invited me to come over to see a demonstration of the Lyndhurst Police Department's 4 drones. And Detective Andrew Mamorato showed me one of them in action, and I'll be honest with you, it was really one of the most enjoyable things I've ever covered, because these things are absolutely amazing. I'm not going to get too in-depth about what these drones can and can't do, because then you won't read the story, which starts on page 1 and moves to pages 4 and 5. But I will tell you that while we were standing outside at the town hall parking lot, outside of the Detective Bureau, off of Delafield Avenue, I was out there with Captain Mamorato and Chief Rich Jarvis Jr. We were out there, and all of a sudden, Lieutenant Paul Haggerty comes running out of the building, and he goes, "Fight over at this restaurant." I don't want to tell you which restaurant it was, but within a few minutes, a few seconds, that drone was up in the air. They sent that drone over, and you could see what was going on at this scene at a restaurant from about 2 blocks away, and it was just really cool to see it in action. But that is just one of so many things that drones can do to help aid in policing in the 21st century. So I express a lot of that in the story, and Lyndhurst has 4 drones. Kearny has drones. I know Harrison has drones, and a couple other departments may as well. But this is really going to make policing so much more efficient in the 21st century. And one of the coolest things about the program in Lyndhurst was that not one dime of taxpayer money was spent to buy these expensive machines, which I think the most expensive of the 4 was $16,000 just for the one unit. All the money comes from forfeited DEA drug money. So something good comes out of the war on drugs, where this money is turned around and used for efficient and modernized policing. So great job from the captain. He's a pilot as well, and you can just feel that passion he has for this program that he's put together and that he's done such a tremendous job with. And Mayor Robert Giangiarusso is 100% behind the program too, so that never hurts, and it's going to be an incredible tool to fighting crime in the 21st century. So I hope you enjoy the story when you read it as much as I did when I wrote it. So that's this week's front page. Check it out, and you can see it right now if you want. It's on theobserver.com. Moving inside, there's this thing called a pocket park. I don't really understand it so much, but one opened in Belleville recently, so I hope you'll check that out. It's a new concept. Apparently, it's for adults and children, and Mayor Mike Melham recently opened one of those in conjunction with the Board of Education and a few other organizations. It wasn't just a municipal project, so great job there. Also, sticking in Belleville, 2 firefighters were recently recognized for saving the life of a man who had practically bled out at the scene of an accident. And somehow they were able to save him, and he was revived and is still alive to tell the tale. So congratulations to these 2 Belleville firefighters who were recognized by Mayor Mike Melham and the Belleville Township Council at a recent meeting. Ron Lear has that story. This is the inside of the newspaper, the rest of the story about the drones, and there's some other pictures in there as well. As we continue along, Tim Wagner has a police blotter this week, including the story of a man who was arrested a couple of months ago for sadly urinating on his wife They're no longer together. They're no longer married. And he returned to the scene of the crime, even though she has a restraining order against him, and he wound up going behind bars. You know, these what I appreciate about the Kearny police blotter is that you will see instances of domestic violence in the blotter without using names. Now, would we like to use the name of the suspects? Yes. But we don't, because we want to protect the safety and the identity of the victims in these cases. We would never use a victim's name, obviously. But sometimes by identifying the suspect, you identify the victim. So Tim will write these, but in a way to illustrate what's happening in town. This is something that happens on a nightly basis. These guys are seeing, and these gals are seeing this when they're called out to these terrible scenes. It's horrible what's happening, but it's pretty regular, and I'm very grateful to Captain Wagner for including those in the blotter each week, because it's a serious situation, and it's not just Kearny, it's every single town. You've heard Lisa talk about it because she was trained to be a domestic violence counselor, and it's an epidemic that's not going anywhere, and it's in a bad spot right now. So check out this horrible case and other entries from Tim Wagner as well. This young lady you see here is the starting goalie for the Nutley High School hockey team, and she recently signed to play Division I hockey at Long Island University, and she is the first Nutley athlete hockey player to ever sign to play Division I hockey. LIU apparently has a phenomenal Division I women's hockey program, but she still is the first ever from this high school to ever play Division I hockey, so read all about her. And I think she's going to have a phenomenal season, according to what Jason Bernstein wrote in his piece. Kearny's got a hockey team as well, which is a co-op with a couple of other schools, as is Nutley's, and Jason has a feature on them as well, and he has a full feature of the Nutley hockey team, which this young lady is on. I'm not going to tell you any of the names because I want you to pick up the paper and read it. You can do that right now, just about. Drive Sober or You're Getting Pulled Over is underway again this year, and I think it's the second time during the course of the year that they do this. It is mind-boggling that people will get behind the wheel of a vehicle after having had something to drink, when you consider that you don't even have to wait for a taxi much anymore, especially around here, and you can call for ride sharing, or you could call anybody. Everybody's got phones. But if you're stupid enough to get behind the wheel, having had something to drink, there are going to be saturation patrols out there, especially in Harrison. They received a grant. We're not sure about any of the other towns yet. We haven't heard from them, but Stanley Titterington sent something out, and if you drive drunk, you're going to get caught. It is not worth it. Not when there's so many legal, viable alternatives to driving when you had something to drink. Even if you had one, it's enough. It really is. You don't realize how .08 is really nothing when you think about it, when you blow it on a breathalyzer. Don't take the risk. Just get somebody to pick you up, leave your car, take an Uber or a Lyft, and go pick up the damn car tomorrow. Because if you don't, you're going to pay the price. And Harrison is certainly looking to do that in the coming weeks. Now, the Girl Scouts are having an event later next month in December, where people and their pets can go and get pictures with Santa. It could be just pets, it could be just people, but it's a fundraiser for the girls who are going for their Bronze Award. So I hope you will check that out when you get a chance. And it's a very, very worthy cause. These girls work very hard to get their Bronze Awards. So I hope you'll give them some support by heading out and doing that. And believe it or not, that is all of this week's newspaper. We've got classifieds this week. If you're looking for a job, looking for a place to live, there are some rentals this week. That's a good thing. Some situation, if you have an apartment for rent, there are a couple people who are looking for situations for living arrangements. And this is a new trend we're starting to see, that instead of people renting their apartments, they're actually saying, I need an apartment. So if you're a landlord, call me. I think I might be, and they give you their scenarios, and so you'll know right away if you're a landlord whether you got a good match or not. So if you are a landlord, especially, and you don't want to have to go through the whole process, take a look at some of these. You might find yourself a new tenant. And most of the people, if not all, who take out ads with us are very reputable people. We know who they are. They've been with us for a long period of time. So you're not going to get a fly-by-night that you would if it was certainly something that you would see on Craigslist. So check it out in this week's classified, pages 16 and 17 this week. Now, a few other housekeeping items. On Thursday night, Kearny's holiday tree lighting takes place at 5:30. The concert begins at 6:30. Santa comes and the tree gets lit. And then there's a little festival over at Town Hall Park at 6:30. And there's going to be a lot of vendors and things like that going on. I know the PBA and the FMBA and likely CS11 will be there. And they're going to have some refreshments there. You know, it's always a funny thing when, I'm not sure what Mina's doing this year, but John Fabula used to always bring donuts for the police booth. So, there's something funny in that. And I'm sure Mina will have something as well. I know he's going to have something as well. I'm just not sure what it is. I should have remembered this. Oh, and here's the other thing, too. Just as a reminder, the PBA, FMBA, CS11, and the Observer all got together this year to do a Thanksgiving food drive. And we have a little bit of a recap of it. And I'm going to tell you something. To see the FMBA, CS11, and PBA 21 banding together the way they have over this last year is basically unprecedented. You don't really hear too many stories of days gone by where the PBA, the FMBA, and CS11 have banded together to do things, but they have done so much, which includes this Thanksgiving food drive. It includes the backpack drive, and when they took school supplies, and so many other things. They donated money to the victims of the Laurel Avenue fire from the summer. And a lot of this goes back to three particular people. Mina Claudius is the president of PBA 21. Brett Mussenden is the president of CS11. CS11 is civil service employees, DPW, town hall workers, things of that nature. And Juan Barroso Jr. is the secretary of FMBA 18218. They're young guys, and they get the importance of banding together because the power in numbers is so much greater. So I want to take a moment and thank them for what they've done, not just for Thanksgiving, but all over the past year. To see that connection is great, and the people who benefit the most for it are the people of the town of Kearny. And I'm sure you would agree when you see what they have done, not just with Thanksgiving, but all along, that this unification has been something to behold. And it all goes back to those three or four mentioned gentlemen who want to do good things and who are doing just that. Oh, boy. Okay. I just got tongue-tied. It's about 14 minutes past the hour. Canassi here with you tonight. That's going to do it for this edition of The Observer Live, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. We'll be back 1 week from tonight, but of course, if something happens during the course of the week, we will join you then. From the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, Kevin Canassa signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Good night, everybody.